بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my respected brothers and sisters. Welcome back to your show, Ask Eman. The show it gives you the opportunity and the platform, inshallah, to be able to answer your question live here by calling us here on 0203-515-0769. That's 0203-515-0769. And for those of you brothers and sisters who prefers to pick up their phone and call us or email us, inshallah, the details that you need to know is, inshallah, you'll see it on the left-hand side of your screen. And for those of you brothers and sisters who prefers to watch us on social media, we are live streaming on Facebook and YouTube, inshallah. So if you do have any question with this new technology that we have, inshallah, you'll be able to see everything from different angles, bi'idhn al-wahid al-ahad. So I'll be your host for the next hour, Mahmoud Yusuf. With me I have my beloved Shaykh Wasim Kempson. Assalamu alaikum wa
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hayakum Allah, Shaykh, and how are you?
Alhamdulillah. I changed my dress today.
Khair, salamat?
No, I do that for a particular reason.
Go ahead.
So the viewers, they're flicking through the scroll, they know it's not a repeat. So the previous there was wearing a scarf, and this particular show there's no scarf, so it's not a repeat.
Alhamdulillah.
So they may stay on the show and watch it.
And a different presenter as well.
That even adds to it as well.
That adds to it.
All my shows at the moment are with Brother Ibrahim.
Brother Ibrahim.
So I feel very blessed to be with you today.
Alhamdulillah, barakallahu feek. Shaykhana, as usual, inshallah, if you can start the show with a beautiful reminder as usual, inshallah. So that way we can get all our questions for you and our viewers can settle down and send all the questions forward to us, bi'idhnillah.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. All praise belongs to Allah. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His final messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters and viewers at home. So what I want to talk about, inshallah ta'ala, very briefly, is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam and his wife Hawa, that they were deceived by Iblis. And after Iblis disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he made a promise, an oath, to stand in the way and try to misguide all the sons and daughters of Adam. So this is his goal throughout the whole of time. And obviously that Iblis is not alone. He will have many shayateen. He will have an army of devils with him to try and misguide mankind in any way, shape or form that he can. And this continued, and he was, of course, and is a clear enemy to us on this earth. And one way that Iblis and shayateen will try to harm us and misguide us is to take us away from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by any means, by causing confusion, by causing doubts, by any means possible. So therefore it is important for us as Muslims to be aware of who our enemy is, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes that very clear to us, who our enemy is. فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا, and that we take him as an enemy.
Sure.
And secondly, that we seek refuge, we seek protection in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the misguidance, from the whispers of a shaitan. And constantly we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم, and guide us to the straight path. This is us asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us to the path which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with, and not the path of those who have earned Allah's anger or those who have gone astray. So bearing this in mind, especially nowadays where deception and confusion is so easily accessible, one of the biggest goals, if you like, that shaitan wants to achieve is to really put us in a place where we think that Iblis doesn't exist in the first place, or the shaitan and all these waswasa, misguidance. All of this is hocus pocus, doesn't mean anything. It's all written in books and things like that because of so much confusion that is caused to the Muslims. But only those Muslims whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows to have an insight to His deen, guides them, makes them steadfast upon the religion, realize that this is a stark reality, and that holding on to your religion is something which is very, very important. And being misguidance is a great danger. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from shubuhat, from doubts, from confusion. And we ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to allow us to remain steadfast. Allahumma ameen.
Barakallahu feek, Shaykh. Let me reward you, inshallah, for this beautiful reminder. Inshallah, Shaykhana, before I ask you the question via WhatsApp, so I just want to remind our brothers and sisters, our beloved viewers, that the number you need to call, inshallah, to take part in the show is 0203-515-0769. That's 0203-515-0769. 69, inshallah, and that's for those of you who wants to take part. And another thing that I'd like to remind you as well, which I forgot at the beginning of the segment, and that is for those of you who live overseas and you want to take part on the show, please remember you could do so, inshallah, by calling our WhatsApp number from overseas, and we can get your question live here, bi'idhnillah, and we can answer it for you, inshallah. But Shaykhana, we're going to start with our first question via WhatsApp. Starts with Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Can someone ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive a deceased person? Whether mean asking for forgiveness or to forgive that the person that has passed away, or do you just make dua for them generally and that's it?
Nah. Okay, so it is permissible for us to seek, to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He forgives the deceased Muslims. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through His mercy, can forgive them in their grave for the sins that they may have accumulated. So, in general, yes, we make dua for the deceased, and part of that dua that we make for them is that along with when we may say to them, may Allah Azza wa Jal make it easy for them in their grave, give them light in their grave, give them a vastness, a wideness, and a removal of any restrictions in the grave, but also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala overlooks their mistakes, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives them of their sins, that may be good deeds that you can do on their behalf, okay, which will outweigh any sins that they may have done. So it is perfectly permissible that you can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive the deceased. Wallahu a'lam.
Barakallahu fiqh. Shaykh Khana, I don't know if this has been asked to you and you've probably answered it, just in case you haven't. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Shaykh Wasim. Can you please explain about the wali? I am a widow and I have two daughters, 19 and 14 years old. I do not have any male family members. My brothers are back at home, and my brother-in-law is not supportive. My father is also passed away. So my question is, in the future, who can be my wali or my children's wali, which is my daughters, for marriage?
طيب. So with regards to wilaya or guardianship, or to be a wali who qualifies for that, the father is the number one in line, and as he has passed away, we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to have mercy upon him. If after that your father is not there, then your grandfather from your father's side, if he has also passed away, then it would go to, if you have any sons. If you don't have any sons, then it would go to your brothers. So as you mentioned, you have some brothers, so they would be the next in line to be your wali for the purposes of marriage. Okay, this doesn't mean that they are there meant to dictate how you're going to live your life or with your daughters and things like that. You'll do your best, and may Allah make it easy for you to bring up your daughters and protect your daughters. But for the purposes of marriage, if you like, that your brother, your elder brother, would be the wali for that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Barakallahu fiqh, Shaykh. And we have another question here, very technical. Starts with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. If I am editing something with ayat of Quran or ayat Quraniyah being recited to, do I have to listen to the entire ayah or can I edit it? So which means like people some chops, some ayats, yeah.
Okay. So usually when we listen to the Quran, or it is being recited, فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ, that we are commanded to listen to it.
No.
However, if you are editing a video or you're producing some form of rendering or your design or something like that, then as long as either the primary work that you are doing is to ensure that the beginning of the verse and the ending of the verse is not cut short in any way.
No.
Okay, so there has to be an element of you listen to it somehow anyway. That being the case, you can't get away that you need to listen to it in the first place.
Sure.
This is my, a kind of a logical approach.
Right.
So you're not kind of doing anything you can't get away from but to listen to it in the first place, because you need to know where the verse begins and where it ends. Okay, so this is the question, right?
No. This is the question in regards to editing videos, yes. But Shaykh, I've got another question I'd like to, in case our viewers want to elaborate more into it. No. So, for you to edit it, so you obviously have to listen, like you just mentioned, you have to listen to the whole surah to know where you want to edit, which part you want to cut and put and replace. Now, what about for those who listens to Quran in the background, whilst they are maybe working on a computer or cleaning the house or whatever they may be?
Yeah, so I guess the common question is that the Quran being played in the background or being played even when you're driving.
Yeah.
Now, there's absolutely no problem if you're driving and you want to listen to the Quran, لا بأس, no problem, inshallah ta'ala. If you're in the car with somebody, there's a conversation and the Quran is being played, then you would lower the Quran so that your conversation isn't over the Quran. Okay, so you show some respect to the Quran. Similarly, if you're at home, then the Quran is being played. I don't know, maybe you might be building a shelf, you might be washing some dishes, you might be vacuuming, or you might be doing something in the house, and the Quran is being played because you're listening to it, just as you would be driving.
Right.
If you're doing that, then not a problem. If, however, it is being played and no one is paying attention to it, then it is better for you not to do that.
Right.
It's not just you're playing it for what reason. Okay, so therefore, if you want to play the Quran, you play the Quran.
Because someone might say to you, because I play it at home just to have some protection, and some might say to you just to get rid of the shayateen, to bring the malaika back in. So like some people say to play Surah Al-Baqarah will be played in the background.
Yeah, on the issue of the Prophet ﷺ told us that a house in which Surah Al-Baqarah is recited, that the shayateen will not enter. Many of the scholars say that this is the person they recite the Quran themselves. There's a difference of opinion whether it is played from an MP3 or not. Allah knows best.
Barakallahu fiqh. Join us after our break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my respected brothers and sisters. Welcome back to your show, Ask Eman. Inshallah, brothers and sisters, I'd like to remind you, inshallah, if you wanted to call us in the studio and you want to ask us any question in regards to the deen, this is an opportunity for you to do so, inshallah, on here. And our number is 0203 5150769. That's 0203 5150769. Without any further ado, let's take our caller, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, brother Abdul Rahman. Beg your pardon, brother Abdul Aziz? Brother Abdul Aziz?
You got upset because you called him Abdul Rahman, maybe.
Probably because I called him Abdul Rahman. It's not my fault, it's the brothers in the background.
Yeah.
طيب خير إن شاء الله. Brother Abdul Aziz? Brother Abdul Aziz, if you can pick up your phone and call us back again, inshallah, in our studio here, inshallah. And the number again for those brothers and sisters who have forgotten it is 0203 5150769. طيب شيخنا, inshallah, we're going to continue with more of the question that we have by WhatsApp here.
Inshallah.
So the next question we have in regards to shaving as men. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Which part of the body are we not allowed to shave?
Not allowed.
Yeah.
So, in many ahadith, the Prophet ﷺ prohibited us from shaving the beard. Apart from that, if you want to remove, and of course there are certain parts of the body where we are required to remove hair from under the armpits and in the private area, we should remove hair from those areas. The length, I shouldn't go beyond any 40 days, but if you do it, on a weekly basis or however you do that, then that's absolutely fine, inshallah ta'ala. Remembering this is a deen of tahara, of purification. But as men, we are not allowed to shave and not allowed to remove the hair from the jawline.
No.
Not allowed to shave it off. Wallahu a'lam.
But you can shave any part of your body?
A man, yeah, there's no prohibition. So if you want to, if technically you wanted to remove hair from your back, for example,
yeah,
or you wanted to remove hair from your chest, if you like, if that's what you like, then it's permissible.
Okay.
Because there is no text on that issue saying it is neither allowed or not allowed. It's the Sharia is quiet on that issue.
Right.
And that being the issue, then therefore it's mubah, it's permissible.
Okay. Barakallahu feek. The next question we have here, inshallah, starts with Assalamu alaikum. My respected brothers, can I date a girl when I am looking forward to getting married to her? So this person is confusing the two things here.
Yeah. So you don't date somebody before marriage. What you do is you do things with an Islamic etiquette, with an Islamic manner. Yes, you arrange the nikah, you arrange the walima, and if there's some communication concerning that, if it's necessary to do that, then okay, fine, no problem, inshallah ta'ala. But if you mean, to go out together like a married couple, then no. You wait until you get married, and then you can go out with your wife as you like, wherever you like, as you please. But in Islam, we don't have this quote-unquote dating. And Allah knows best.
Barakallahu feek, inshallah, Shaykhana. Let's take a next caller, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Eman.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To yourself and Shaykh Wasim Kempson.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's your question for us today, inshallah, brother?
Question is, it's understandable that lottery is not permissible.
Nah.
My question is that sometimes you buy even a food item and it has some kind of reward or promotion on it that participate in this and draw and you will win a trip somewhere or this much cash. So is that also not permissible after buying that product?
Have you won anything before, brother?
Alhamdulillah, not.
خلاص خير إن شاء الله. طيب شيخنا, in regards to this question, which is a very good question because we find this even in our daily grocery shopping. Whenever you do, there's temptation of taking part just to win £100 or a trip around the world, whatever it is. Are we allowed to take to participate on this kind of things?
So to further clarify, that there are, let's say, a certain drink or a certain cereal, and that by purchasing that cereal or that drink or whatever that product is, that you could be a winner, you could have, you could win a cruise.
No.
Or you could win a holiday, you could win a car or something like that.
Right.
Does this represent, or does this constitute gambling? طيب. So if you are purchasing that item because you want the item, I want a can of drink, fizzy drink, or you want a healthy drink, I should say, or you would like particular food, and the price of that food and the price of that drink that's the usual price for that. Okay, then it's allowed for you to purchase that. You're not purchasing it because you want the holiday, or you want the cruise, or you want the prize. You want because you want that product because you want to eat it, or you want that product because you want to drink it. So that being the issue, then and there's no added cost to that.
Right.
Then that doesn't constitute gambling, and it's permissible for you to buy that. Wallahu a'lam.
And to take part?
Well, by default, if that's because you're not paid to enter the competition, you've paid for the item,
Right.
which is the normal price for it. And if by default you've been entered to something, if you happen to win, alhamdulillah.
And another thing, Shaykh, because nowadays you find this in your shopping, whenever they submit the receipt to you, in the counter, they say to you, look, if you do a quick survey, you can win, or we can give you a £5 voucher, or this and that. Can you still take part?
Again,
this is now...
yeah, there's no mukhalaf, there's nothing wrong here because you're not paid for that.
Right.
But if you do a service to them and they want to give you something for that, alhamdulillah.
Excellent. So, Barakallahu Feek. Shaykh, we have another question here, which is similar to the...
Can I add something to that?
Of course, go ahead.
Sorry. I want to add something to this. And that is, I was asked a question that there are certain betting companies that your first bet is free, that they will give you some credit. Is this permissible? And then they're off with whatever money that you win, and you can then go into. They will say this is not permissible for you to do, because then because you are joining something which will encourage you to then get involved in the gambling. Okay, or for example, you have to pay £5 and then they'll give you £10 back.
Right.
Okay, this is the issue, that you have given some money to get a greater amount back, which is a form of gambling.
Sure.
And this is something that some people fall in because they think, well, I'm paying £5, but I'm getting 10 back.
Right.
So technically, I guarantee not to lose.
Sure.
But the thing is, because you participated in the gambling issue by giving them money, maybe getting off chance, then this is something you should stay away from. It's kind of a spin-off from what I mentioned, but
sure.
I know maybe there's some confusion concerning that.
Khair, inshallah. Barakallahu Feek, Shaykh. Next question we have, starts with Assalamu alaikum. I would like to ask the Shaykh, how should a child approach his parents if he likes someone?
So, different cultures, they deal with these situations differently. There are those where, consulting your parents is quite important, because ultimately they'll be a part of the process. So, if you think that it is a bit of a step too far to mention that there is an individual, they may question, oh, what you've been up to? How come you found a person already? Then you may just put the idea out there. I'm looking to get married. What do you think of the idea? And if they're open to the issue, because you have a relationship with your parents, that's how things work. Then you may want to take things a little bit slowly. It's not deception, by the way. I'm not saying cheat anyone, but I'm just saying do things in a wise way. Okay, you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and you want to do things correctly, inshallah ta'ala. So if you just put it out there, I'm looking to get married, maybe, what do you think of the idea? And then they're up for it, and then you go through a process, and well, there may be somebody, and you speak with them, and then maybe if the families want to speak to one another, if that's viable. I mean, there's many variations of how that's done. Okay? No. But if that's what you do in your family, that you speak to your parents about, possibly finding somebody, then you go ahead and do that, inshallah. May Allah make it easy for you.
It's not the easiest.
Oh, Allah.
It's not easy when you go to your parents and start saying, I like so and so and I want to marry them. It's not a topic that you actually openly speak about at home. Do you know what I mean? Because especially if you have this certain respect between you and your parents, it's very hard to open up and say I like someone, which their parents usually ask you, how do you like them? Where do you know them from? It's a bit awkward. طب خير, inshallah. Barakallahu Feek, Shaykh. We have a YouTube question here from Sister Hawa Ahmed. It starts with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. If my mum asked me to do something that it would result in cutting a tie of part of the family, what do I do in this situation, especially when it comes to the blessing of marriage?
Okay, so I'm not sure what marriage has got to do with this, but
so basically getting the blessing of the mother.
Getting the blessing of the mother. Okay, I want to separate the two issues, okay? Because I don't want to justify it.
No problem.
In someone saying, no, you shouldn't listen to your mother if they tell you not to cut a relationship with somebody. In Islam, we are prohibited from breaking the ties of kinship. That means the qaraba, that means your very close relatives, okay, or your more distant relatives. You're not allowed to cut relationship with them. Silatul Rahim is a very, very big part of our religion. Now, if there is a marriage issue here now, and you want the blessing of the marriage, I mean, that person is not a blood relative of you, or they may be, I don't know, depending on where you are, might be a cousin or something like that, where it's allowed for you to marry your cousin, for example.
Yeah.
I sense there's something here,
Yeah.
which I'm unable to comment on because I don't know the details behind of what is happening here. But in Islam, if my mother, for example, says to me, you cut relationship with one of your brothers or with one of your uncles without due no right like this, then you need to explain to your mother in the very best way that this is haram.
No.
We're not allowed to cut relationship with anybody, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy.
طب بارك الله فيك شيخنا. We're going to go on for another quick break inshallah. So brothers and sisters, please remember to join us after the outbreak for more Ask Eman. Please remember the number that you need to call inshallah to be back on the show here. It's 0203 51507 69. That's 0203 51507 69. And for those of you brothers and sisters who wants to continue sending us our message or your messages inshallah to us by email or WhatsApp inshallah, the details that you need to know is on the left hand side of the screen. Bidhnillah. So for me and Shaykh for now, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My respected brothers and sisters, welcome back to Yo Show Ask Eman, the show where it gives you the opportunity and the platform, inshallah, to pick up your phone and call us here live in the studio by calling us on 0203 5150769. That's 0203 5150769 to ask us any question in regards to the deen, bi'idhnillah. طب شيخنا إن شاء الله we're going to continue with the rest of the questions from our beloved viewers here. طب we have a question for Maury from YouTube إن شاء الله. Assalamu alaikum Shaykh. Do you have to pay zakah from the capital of the business or you only pay from the profit you make? And if you pay your zakah from the business capital, it means you cannot be able to buy any goods.
Okay. So zakah is due on two conditions. Okay, if you're talking about zakatul mal, if you're talking about the zakah that's paid on your wealth, and not the trade goods. Trade goods is something else. There's zakat on that as well. However, let's say for example, you have money in your bank and you have money coming in and out of your account, okay, due to your business. Now, the two conditions is that the money or the savings that you have, the amount of money that you have in your possession is above the nisab. And let's say, for example, if it's based upon gold, I mean, I'm not sure what it is actually today. Let's say you have more than £2,000, £2,200, right? And you have that money in your possession more than that. And condition number two is that 1 year passes on whatever amount that you have over that. Once that year passes, let's say you have when your wealth is added together, whether you call that's what I made in profit or that's what I have in capital, your wealth is paid upon all of that, the money that has remained with you for 1 year. And it's only 2.5%. Now 2.5% shouldn't render you to be in a situation when you can't purchase any more goods. Okay, that's not the purpose of zakah. Zakah is not to make you poor. Zakah is to purify your wealth, to increase your wealth, to ensure that the rights of those who are deserving of the zakah, that their needs are catered for as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stipulated only that 2.5% of whatever surplus money you have, okay, is to be paid on, and that is not to be separated. This is what profit I made, and only zakah and profit, and the other money I use for no. Any money that you have in your possession is above the nisab, and it is been with you for 1 year. Then you pay 2.5% on that amount, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your wealth. Ameen.
Barakallah feek Shaykh. Ameen inshallah. Let's take a call inshallah, brothers. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Eman.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to yourself and Shaykh Wasim Kempson.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hayyakallah, brother. How are you today?
Alhamdulillah. How are you both?
Not too bad. Barakallah feek for asking. What's your question for us today, inshallah?
Shaykh just was mentioning about Salatul Rahmi.
Nah.
Just wanted a bit more elaboration that is it only blood relatives included in Salatul Rahmi or other close relatives? For example, in some countries, it is felt a bad thing that if you, after marriage, especially the man does not go to the in-laws and spend 2 or 3 nights at their home.
Right.
So just wanted to be clarification which people are included in the Salatul Rahmi.
Barakallahu feek. Do you have any more question, brother?
No, that's it for the time being. Inshallah, I'll call back if I have any more.
Barakallahu feek for your call and jazakallahu khair for taking part. طب شيخنا, the question is it's a very good question because in regards to people that say to Silat al-Rahim is only for those who are close to you, or first cousins, for example. But generally speaking, who are Silat al-Rahim? So
Silat al-Rahim are those kith and kinship who are close to you, or your close blood relatives. Like your mother, father, brothers and sisters, uncles, aunts, and things like that. And then what goes the next level of qaraba, or in terms of relatives, would be your cousins and whatnot. These are also considered like Silatul Rahim, upholding the ties of kinship is also, and that's done in different ways, by the way.
Right.
Okay, how you keep up the ties of kinship with your mother and father is not the same as you upholding the ties of kinship with your third cousin, for example.
Sure.
Okay, so you need to make that distinctly clear. But yet all have their huquq, have their rights. Now, with regards to the in-laws, now whether the husband is going to stay by his wife's who is now his mother-in-law and father-in-law's house for 2 days or 3 days or 1 week. I mean, there's nothing stipulated in the Sharia that you have to do that or how long that's going to be. But this is kind of cultural, the culture will dictate what what's expected and what's kind of the norm in that. And bearing that in mind, one should respect the cultural norms as long as it doesn't go against Islam. Okay, should respect those cultural norms. And if it involves, being good to one's in-laws and supporting them, not to the extent where a person is going to say, right, they're not my blood relatives, therefore I can cut them off. Well, Islam prohibits you from cutting your brother or your sister off anyway.
No.
Okay, so whether you are a blood relative or not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ, that the Muslims are but a brotherhood and sisterhood. So there's no justified reason for any Muslim to cut any Muslim off for any reason. And there are various ahadith that no Muslim should, avoid their brother or their sister for more than 3 nights. Okay.
No.
So based upon that, and more of an emphasis on that, this is your wife's, this is her family, it's her mother, it's her father, it's her relatives. So being good to them is also, in the same time, being good to her as well.
Sure.
And we know, for example, that the Prophet ﷺ, that when Khadija radiallahu anha, when she passed away, that there would be times when her sister, that she would come and the Prophet ﷺ would know of her being in the same city. And that the Prophet ﷺ would make a great effort to ensure that he would give a gift to her, to her family.
Right.
Okay, this is showing responsibility, it's showing respect and compassion and mercy to whom were beloved to you, who is beloved to you.
No.
So you love whom your family loves.
Sure.
Okay, so you shouldn't cause a barrier or look at them in any lower way at all. And you should also bear in mind that when you do get married, you marry into the family.
Sure.
Okay, as you have an ongoing relationship with your spouse, it requires work, and part of that work as well is their what is kind of an extended family to you.
No.
And there is lots of khair, there's lots of reward, there's lots of blessings in being good to other Muslims, and it's a great opportunity for you. So we need to respect the norms and cultures, because it doesn't go against Islam, as long as that people are not obligating people to do, you have to do this, or it's seen as a disrespect, and if you don't do this, we're going to outcast you and things like that. You should understand that people have different understandings, okay?
No.
Communication is very important. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy.
Barakallahu feek, Shaykhana. Next question we have here starts with, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it right here, Zishan. Starts with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I am a train driver. Sometimes I leave just before Maghrib. I get to the destination or on my break at Isha. Can I combine both prayers together?
Okay, so this is obviously an exception and not the rule, where a person is in a situation where they do not have an option, and I assume this is not happening every day, maybe from time to time, that your job requires you to be concentrating because the safety and the well-being of hundreds, if not thousands of people are under your kind of guardianship, especially driving a train.
Yep.
Okay? So this being the case, that you obviously can't offer Salat al-Maghrib before its time, that the first opportunity that you are able to offer Salat al-Maghrib, then you do that inshallah ta'ala. If that means that you don't have any other choice but to offer it at Salat al-Isha time, then you go ahead and do that. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as you can. And at other times where there is nothing preventing you from praying Salat al-Maghrib in its time, then you will ensure that Maghrib is prayed in its time. Wallahu a'lam.
Barakallahu feek, Shaykh. Next question we have from Sister Fatima. It starts with Assalamu alaikum. Is it permissible to contribute toward the mortgage payments with an intention of lightening one's burdens and bringing them out of haram? Note, this may include paying off interest.
Jade. Okay, so if we are in a situation where a person has a toxic debt, and a person has a debt which is a ribawi or usury or interest-based kind of loan, and that person wants to pay that loan as soon as they can to get rid of it, okay? And people can help them do that, then it is permissible. You're not the one who didn't take out the loan. Okay, you don't take that responsibility. But to help them rid themselves of that toxic loan is something which is permissible for you to do. In fact, it may be at times recommended for you to help them get out of that situation. Wallahu a'lam.
Barakallahu fi Shaykh. We have a question here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am really enjoying the program. My question is, can I marry someone who I have committed zina with?
So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from those actions which are displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah Azza wa Jal help us.
Ameen.
And save us from the major sins and the minor sins. Ameen.
Ameen.
If a person is in a situation where they have committed fornication, zina, iyathan billah, then there's a number of things which are required upon them. First and foremost is to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to ask Allah Azza wa Jal for His forgiveness. This is known as a major sin in Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cover your sin. It's not for you to be telling anyone about it, but you want the hukm, you want the ruling on the issue. We don't know who you are, so may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cover you and cover your sin. So repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely. And secondly is that part of your repentance is to avoid that sin and stay away from that person and show openly that I have repented from that sin, meaning that I've stayed away from, and it has to go both ways.
Shaykhana,
No.
because we've actually got very short time. So because I want to give more platform in regards to answering this question, so we do it after the break, inshallah. So brothers and sisters, join us after that break for more Ask Eman. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my respected brothers and sisters. Welcome back to your show, Ask Eman. Brothers and sisters, this will be our last segment, so if you do have any question, I urge you to pick up your phone and call us now in our studio on 0203-515-0769. That's 0203-515-0769. طيب شيخنا, before the ad break, we were asking you one of our beloved viewers was asking us in regards to zina. But before we get to that question, inshallah, Shaykh, because I want to give you enough time to answer it, there's somebody on the line, inshallah. We don't want to keep them waiting. Let's take this call, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Eman. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
You're live on Ask Eman. Sister, what's your question for us today?
I'm a new Muslim, and my son is disabled, and I want you to say dua for him, please.
Inshallah. How long have you been a Muslim, sister, for?
I became a Muslim in 2017, December.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah. May Allah make it easy for you, inshallah.
Thank you.
Barakallah. Do you have any other questions, sister?
Pray for my auntie. Pray for my auntie.
بإذن الله. خير إن شاء الله. بارك الله فيكي. طب شيخنا, in regards to the question from our sister or our brother, in regards to this question, let's go back into it, inshallah. So our brothers and sisters, just in case they didn't catch the question, I will ask the question again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am really enjoying the program. And my question is, can I marry someone who I have committed zina with?
Okay, so we mentioned the gravity of the sin. It is a major sin. It is a great crime against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore you would need to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you of your sin. You should not spread your sin. We ask Allah as well to cover you, to protect you from the consequences of such sins. And part of your repentance is to stay away from that particular sin, al-iqla' an al-dhanb, to stay away from the sin, to remove yourself away from the situation. And this situation, of course, a'idhan billah, is zina and fornication. So part of your repentance is the two individuals involved need to remove themselves from the situation. Okay, if they do this, they repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they remove themselves from the sin, and then after that there is an Islamic marriage which is done according to the Sharia, there's nothing preventing them from getting married, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, but it has to be done correctly. Okay, so we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us all. Amen. We all have sins. And also I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for the sister for her call. I want to make dua for her as well.
Go ahead.
Yeah, may Allah as well make it easy for the sister. She said, I think she has a disabled son. The nature of that, I don't know what that is, but may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your child, bless any future children you have in the future. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your auntie. May Allah as well, if she's a Muslim, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless her, give her the best of this life and the hereafter. If she's not a Muslim, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide her to Islam. And since you've 2017, maybe a couple of years you've been a Muslim, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow you to remain steadfast upon this beautiful religion of Islam.
Amen.
And ensure that you have good company, that you have good friends who can call and remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Khair, barakallahu fi Shaykh. Talking about companionship, we have a question in regards to this matter, inshallah, which starts with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. What should I do in order to get a good companionship or friends?
So we know that the Prophet ﷺ told us that we will be upon the path, or we'll be upon the religion or the way of our friends. So therefore choose our friends carefully. So good people are usually found in good places, and bad people are usually found in bad places generally. So therefore what I would say is that try to find those good places, and those places namely the halaqatul ilm, or the places where people are studying Islam, or the masjid, or places where there are good things that are done, good initiatives. It might be within Islamic charities, for example, some good work you can get involved with. It may be community work, okay? These are the kind of things that you'll find, if you're inclined towards, you'll find, good people there. And obviously, places where haram is what is happening there, then of course you stay away from those places. And usually people are involved in haram have issues, and it's probably best you don't, because you don't want them to affect you. you stay away from those places. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow you to find those places of khair, places of good, and that Allah will allows you to have good companions, as for all of us as well. Allahumma ameen.
Ameen. Barakallahu feek. Sheikh, we have another question here. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sarah. And her question is, if a woman menstruation has been ongoing for 4 months and a doctor have been unable to stop the hormonal bleeding with the use of medication and medical intervention, the question is she permitted to perform Umrah? And what is the ruling in regards to her performing her salawat and picking up the Quran and reciting the Quran?
Okay, so if a person has a persistent or chronic bleeding, there's a number of things that you're required to do to try to find a solution for this. Solution number one is that if you are able to distinguish between the blood discharge, with the monthly cycle, there is obviously menstrual blood, which will have its own type of blood discharge. And then you may be able to distinguish between that. If you're able to do that, then you will stop praying, obviously, when you're able to distinguish between the two types of discharge. Menstrual blood being very dark, very congealed, has a particular smell, for example, you know that's your menstrual cycle. And maybe it's something you can, at one point of your life, that you know you had that. All right? So you can base it upon that. That's if you're able to distinguish between.
No.
And then at the other times, when there's a blood discharge, you're required to pray. But we're not considering that menses. It's called istihada.
No.
But you're required to make wudu for salah, when necessary, okay? If you are unable to distinguish between the bloods, you just have chronic bleeding, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy, then what you're required to do is if you yourself had a known cycle in the past, okay, but maybe, let's say for example, maybe you had an operation or you gave birth or something happened that changed your cycle. If you had a cycle at one time which was known to you, then you can base your cycle upon that now.
No.
So let's say at one point in time where I didn't have any chronic bleeding and it wasn't continuous, and my menstrual cycle used to be 7 days, and then the other time was I used to be praying, okay? So then, and I remember it was at the beginning of the month or the middle of the month or the end of the month, okay? That is the plan you will set for yourself, okay? So then at a particular, let's say, for make it simple, on the first of the Islamic month, for example, or if it's the Gregorian calendar you used to base it upon, then do that as well. So at the first of the month, that's when I started my menses, for example. And then I continue that on the 7th, and on the 7th day is my last day. I perform ghusl when it's Salat al-Maghrib on that day, and then I will pray for the next 23 days or so, okay? And then after those 23 days, again, the month starts around again, you stop praying because that's when you're going to do that. If that's when you had a known cycle to yourself.
Sure.
If you never had a cycle yourself, then you can go to, let's say for example, your closest female relative. Let's say for example your mother or your sister. They have a known cycle, okay? Then you can base it upon their cycle.
Sure.
And the days that they would not pray, and you can use that for your cycle. If you're unable to distinguish between the discharge continuously. Okay, so these are the two scenarios. If you're able to distinguish, you distinguish. If you cannot distinguish, then you go back to a once upon a time cycle you had. If you never had a cycle, then your closest female relative, and you base it upon that. Wallahu a'lam.
Barakallahu feek. Sheikh, next question we have. Assalamu alaikum. Sheikh, is it permissible to shorten all combined Dhuhr and Asr when we have travelled nearly 41 miles from our city to another city, inshallah? We started out from our city before Dhuhr, and by the time we got into the masjid in the other city, it was Asr.
Okay, so with regards to what constitutes a journey, when am I considered a musafir? Okay, there are many, many different approaches and understandings on this, okay? I am of the view that there is a specific distance you have to go beyond for you to be considered a traveller. And you can consider this maybe the opinion of the majority, although there are many other valid views. I'm of the view that a person would, if you've only travelled 41 miles, you would not be considered a traveller.
No.
Okay, I'm assuming that you're returning, okay, the same day or something like that, or even the next day, okay, because 41 miles is not considered the distance of a journey. So you would just pray your prayers as normal, and Allah knows best.
Barakallahu fiqh. Shaykhana, we have another question from YouTube. Nadia, Assalamu alaikum. How do I deal with waswasa in both prayers and wudu?
Okay, so dealing with waswasa is a common issue, is a common problem for many of us. And it is important for us to know the solution. And the solution, inshallah, is very simple, but it is also very effective. Okay? Now, if you can imagine now that the waswasa or the whispers that come to you are like waves. Okay? That the shaitan will come to you to cause some doubt. How many raka'at did you pray in the salah, or did you watch this part in when you're making wudu? Okay? Now, if you are able to repel that first wave that comes to you, when the waswasa comes to you, so the next time you make wudu, if I get a waswasa, I'm going to ignore it. Okay, I don't care what the waswasa is. Did you do this? Did you do that? Didn't you do this? I'm going to ignore it. I know myself. I know how to make wudu, and I'm going to do it. Now, I'm going to say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, and I repel that, and I make wudu and I forget it. The next time, inshallah ta'ala, you'll be that much stronger in repelling the waswasa. But if you give in, you become weaker. So the more you repel it, the stronger you will come, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you.
Barakallahu fiqh, Shaykhana, for being here with us, and may Allah reward you for every step you've taken to be here and answer our question. Brothers and sisters, I'd like to thank you for taking part, and I'd like to thank you for watching us as well. Please remember to join us tomorrow for more Ask Eman. For me and the Shaykh, till next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.